Hello, everyone. This is the Secret Squirrels, episode 27. How are you today?
We're doing pretty good. How are you, Brain?
Well, you know, life keeps happening. Good things, bad things, ups and downs. But they can't get rid of us because we're tough little squirrels.
Yeah.
All bushy-tailed, ready for your next fight. So, what do we have on our agenda? I have no idea. You know, we've been keeping pretty busy with Doc Corsi being, I don't know, on the lam or whatever he's doing. MIA.
Well, yeah, he's MIA. He's locked up somewhere.
Yeah. So, anyway, I mean, we've been doing all that stuff, trying to keep Doc's show going, and it takes up a lot of time and energy to do that. So we haven't really had enough time for prepping the squirrel stuff. Apologize to all of our avid followers, because I know you're really disappointed that this show isn't the priority. Of course, it should be, right?
Oh, it will be.
Well, you know, I don't want anybody to. Well, you know, our delusions. We wanted to be deluded into thinking this show is actually going to be something someday. But you never know. It could happen, right?
Exactly.
Oh. So, yeah, I'm just going to go through, what do you call it, the spider thingy there for a little bit. Let me see if I can get this one going. Let me get the right window up. Okay. Well, first, I guess, the question is, like, do we have any rumors and stuff that we need to address? Are there big rumors circling?
Yeah, I guess if you want to call it a rumor, I saw on while I was thumbing through news earlier today, that Antifa plans to kick up their game after the election, or maybe it's before the election. And they're going to get gangs of people to do home invasions. So, folks, better buy your guns and your ammo. Start practicing.
Yes.
Well, as your state allows.
I'm putting
I wish I knew where that was. I wish I'd bookmarked it when I saw it earlier today, but I didn't, so I apologize.
Yeah, putting my headphones on. Maybe I'm not going to do as much echoing. Yeah. So, anyway, Spider. First big thing, Trump, I'd be the world's worst drinker. I don't think President Trump drinks at all. I don't know what this has got to do with anything.
No, he doesn't drink because his older brother died early on.
Yep.
Of drug and alcohol abuse. Am I right, Army wife?
Yep.
So
he just refused to touch it, any of it.
Right. Well, and then you've got the stop.
Well, this theme, what is this? The theme is, though, it's White House authorizes broader FBI interviews and Kavanaugh review. Oh, that was a Q thingy. Q's talking about, if you guys, let me see, go down here a bit. Where'd it go? There. That's number 2305. So Ford should down for perjury. Mm-hmm. And then Q responded, refused to hand over therapy notes to the FBI. Think why? Justice K never named. Mr. X logged in book along with physician description during eyes closed session, not Justice Kavanaugh. So the physical description in Ford's. So the FBI, no subpoena power, no grand jury to demand. Justice Cavanaugh never named and asked during polygraph. Something did happen to Dr. Ford in her past. Use of that something to frame Justice Cavanaugh. And you notice they're calling him Justice. So that means it's confirmed.
Yeah, well, and I think one of the reasons why is because it apparently had not came out before the hearings. Anyway, in 2008, Christine Ford wrote an article teaching hypnosis to create, quotation marks, artificial situations.
Yeah, it's how to fool yourself into thinking that something is true.
Exactly,
basically.
And that's
I was going to ask you to bring that up, Army Wife. Good call.
Yep, I'm going to put that link right here in the box. I Love My Freedom ran it, but I think it came out of Gateway Pundit earlier today was where it came out of. It's very, very interesting. That girl needs help, all right, but
I don't know if there's help enough for that one.
Exactly. With her family background, there's no telling. She could have been MK Ultra many years ago, for all we know.
Yeah.
Well, for her to choose a career path going into psychology, she probably wants to be a programmer. She's probably
especially with her family having the ties to the CIA that they do.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my thoughts on it.
So, what do you guys think that this Rod Rosenstein in brackets there is? Rod Rosenstein involved in terms of what there?
That's curious. I don't know. I've wondered that myself. Yeah, I wonder if he does have something to do with that.
Yeah, I think this is. I mean, this looks like it's going to backfire on the people who were asking for the FBI investigation, because FBI has expanded investigation into other suspicious acts with support of ABC agency as authorized by the president. So it's going to backfire on these guys.
Yeah, I think Rosenstein's just rogue all the way to the core.
Well, you think it'll take out Feinstein? Because she really needs to be taken out,
Yeah, she should have already been taken out with the...
the Chinese?
Yeah, when you have a Chinese spy working for you.
Chinese connections.
Trust me. Yeah, and this goes back to, actually, I had sent it over to Brain last Friday, I think. The pictures that Q had put out back in, I think, February last year of someone that was in China. Something happened there. Mm-hmm. And it kind of find out it was Dianne Feinstein's vehicle. Apparently, she was visiting China again last February.
Yeah, I remember that. But I don't know exactly what it was outside of just... like watching her, I guess, is what they were doing. Just
maybe so. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of big businesses in that building that building the pictures were taken of.
Q's been pretty busy tonight, if you weren't aware of it.
Yep. He has been busy.
I don't really know what it all means. I'm not sure I would be able to understand it any better if I put more energy into it. What do you think, Bandit?
I think at this point in time, we can speculate until we're blue in the face. And yes, a lot of it is educated speculation, if that's a thing. Like a hypothesis. They're educated, good educated guesses, good educated speculation, however you want to put it. But until I'm going to use a saying that my old man always used to say, and might not be great for air, but until somebody shits or gets off the pot, we're not going to know what's going on. We can sit here and go back and forth on what we think is happening and what we think is going to happen. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, until something happens,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and here's another problem: is Q himself said that misinformation or disinformation is necessary. So we don't know what he's telling is accurate, what isn't, what they're steering us down a rabbit hole, what isn't.
So you don't think it's a good idea to try to understand what's going on? I don't understand what you're saying there.
No, and I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, it truly is getting us nowhere.
Well, even if we knew exactly what was going on, we wouldn't necessarily be able to use that information. What is it? What do you mean? What is it you're trying to get from the information? What do you want it to provide for you?
Like everybody else in America. No, sorry, I'll rephrase that. Like every good red-blooded American, every good conservative red-blooded American wants right now, we want to win. And by winning, we want our country back. By getting our country back, we want things to go back to the way they were, and we want the bad guys put in jail. We want the bad guys hung. We want the bad. You know what? Listen, I'm gonna go out on a limb here for a second. I've always held conservatives to a higher standard. I have. When I said something today off the air to DC about when James Woods speaks up, I like it. I'm glad for it, but I kind of wish he wouldn't. Only because we always cut down the left, and we cut down Hollywood left when they speak up on shit that they don't. Sorry, my language tonight. When they speak up on stuff that they don't, really know about, and they don't, and then all they are is pushing an agenda. Although we agree with James Woods' agenda, I wish he wouldn't. I just wish he wouldn't, because we can cut down the left and Hollywood and that whole thing. But it's hard to do that when we applaud somebody like James Woods. Well, I think the same for, secretly, would we like to see a bunch of them hang? Absolutely. Absolutely. They deserve to. They tried to take our country away from us. They tried to ruin this world. They are evil. However, and I do believe in the death penalty. I truly do believe in the death penalty. When you are caught red-handed, when you get a smoking gun in your hand and there's a dead body laying across from you, death penalty. No two ways about it. But at the same time, we are the better half. I don't care how bad that sounds. We are.
I'm still not clear, though, on what you're even saying. That what is it that he's doing wrong?
Is that what I'm rambling?
I just don't understand what is wrong with like James Woods. What's wrong with what he's doing? I don't understand what you're getting at.
Because he's sinking to the left's level.
In terms of what?
In terms of somebody famous speaking out. So everything you've ever heard about the left and the left, all the bad things you can say about the left's, like Hollywood idiots rambling on about the left. Okay? Well, what makes James Wood any more of an expert on conservatism or patriotism?
I don't think he's claiming to be.
Than the rest of us.
I don't think he's claiming to be. He just has a wider audience just because of his fame. But I don't think he's claiming to have any special knowledge.
No. But I'm sorry, as a whole, as a country, as a conservative half, treat him like that.
I don't know. Yeah. I kind of think that it's just nice to look at Hollywood and see James Wood and not have to be forced into thinking all these guys are 2 tacos shy of a combo platter. Why even bother?
Right.
Well, I do find his tweets are generally funny and insightful. So, I mean, I don't see...
Yeah.
Oh, very, very insightful, very intelligent. I am simply saying, if we are going to be better than them, and by them I mean the left, if we are going to be better than them, we need to be better than them. Does that make any sense to anybody in this room right now? Nope.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about on the electric chair?
I'm talking about anything. I'm talking about.
No.
Well, I do agree that we should hold ourselves to our own standards and not allow their standards to dictate our actions. But I don't.
Thank you.
I don't see.
That's my point.
But I don't see what's wrong with what he's doing.
Okay, listen. I said I don't think what he's doing is wrong. I am saying, as conservatives and as holding ourselves to a higher moral standard and a higher standard, we should not sink to their level. Their level is, if Winona Ryder says that Trump's an idiot, Trump's an idiot. Okay, do you know how foolish that is, that you're listening to a Hollywood actress who, might have a 97 IQ? And although I know...
And they sorry, I've got my fan on too loud here.
It's pouring outside.
When somebody on the left is looking at a famous person's tweets and they think that this is an important opinion just simply because they're famous, then that's bad. But James Woods is just, he's intelligent, he's insightful, he's funny, and it just so happens that he's a celebrity. I think that's a big difference, is that we are admiring what he's saying because it is funny. Because it is, it's not because he's famous. It's because he's got good tweets. We judge the merit of what he's doing rather than his position. But
did I lose you guys?
There we go.
Listen, I'm not specifically picking on James Woods. I enjoy. Like Jack said, it is nice to see somebody. But here, okay, no, I am going to go back to this. Okay, Magnum PI. Help me out here, girls.
Tom Selleck.
Thank you. Tom Selleck, great conservative. There's a few more. Well, Clint Eastwood. There's a few more.
John Voight.
John Voight. Anyway, there are some good conservatives in Hollywood, and you know why? They keep their mouths shut. Conservatives as a whole don't go around tooting their own horns. They don't go around saying, "Hey, everybody, do what we do, live how we live."
Normally, I'd agree with that. Normally, I would agree with that, but I think we've gotten to the point where we can't afford to be quiet anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to start saying, no, enough is enough, and the line is drawn. So in that manner, I would have to say, well, then I applaud James Wood. There's another one. Oh, come on. He was the guy that used to do that dating show. He's a...
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He's excellent.
Chuck Woolery.
Yes.
Yeah, Chuck Woolery. I follow him. Excellent. And he even comes right out and has a podcast where he calls them out.
Good.
And I think that's what we need now, is we need to sit there and call these people out and call them for the snakes that they are, and not hide anymore. And that's the problem, is because I think during the Obama administration, we all sat there and said, oh, we're ignoring the fact that the emperor is not wearing any clothes. And look what it got us.
Yeah.
You're right.
A whole bunch of hurt.
I'll agree with that. We were quiet for too long. You're
and I think that
full on right there.
There's some of them, these high profile people who want to have people follow them, that just try to tear down this country one way or the other.
Right.
Then to have someone else at just the same level of high profile tell them to go get bent. And
right, it's really nice.
Kind of like POTUS did at the Rose Garden yesterday with Blumenthal. He was, for 15 years he lied about being a Vietnam veteran.
Uh-huh.
And he started calling them out, just diming them. Same thing with Booker and them. This is at the Rose Garden. Actually, I think it was today. He was at the Rose Garden. Or was it yesterday?
I'm sorry.
But yeah, he just starts calling them out. He starts calling them out to all the, fake news media. And he called the reporter that finally, whenever he allowed them to start asking about Cavanaugh, he says, I call y'all Democrats because the media is a Democratic Party. You're just evil. He tore them up on, let them all, show it to the world. Because he went at them, and it was a really good briefing that he had. It had to do with the trade, actually, with the trade deal.
Yeah. Well, I think, too, when we've got people like Alyssa Milano, sitting in the Kavanaugh hearings and sitting there saying, this is a disgrace. But we don't have any other woman in Hollywood sitting there saying, well, wait a second, this is wrong. Look what this is doing to victims. Look at the damage that this could be causing. We don't have that. We have Alyssa Milano, whose brain dead ideologies are she won't shut up. She won't shut up.
Dan Bongino did an excellent podcast today. All the women that emailed him and his wife that have been assaulted or molested or raped or whatever, and they are appalled of what's going on with Judge Kavanaugh for them to treat him like that when this woman had no dates, no evidence whatsoever. The people that she drug into this all deny it ever even happened.
Exactly.
They are completely appalled. And many of them are Democrats, and they said that is the very last straw. They will never vote Democrat again. And poor thing, it sounded like he was going to cry. He tried to tell, those women, he says, the reason we haven't responded is because we just don't know how to.
I'm going to throw something out here, though. You were saying, like we don't have the Alyssa Milanos or whatever. No, here's what we have. And people right now are failing to bring this up, mainly because mainstream media is against us. I understand that. But people like President Trump, Judge Kavanaugh, some of these senators, whatever, they need to bring this up because it gets forgotten so easily. So you have, Kellyanne Conway was the first female presidential candidate, whatever she was. Okay. Then you have the first female CIA director that just got hired. President Trump just got hired. And then you have the, my sweetheart, oh my gosh, our gal at the UN.
Nikki Haley.
Oh, God, I love that woman. If she runs for president, I will vote for her. And she is not only female, she is Palestinian. She is not
Indian.
Palestinian.
From
Pakistani.
India.
Okay.
She's from India.
Anyway, so, we have all these firsts that the left has conveniently overlooked, where had all these women been on the left, they would have been touted from the rooftops.
But here we've got Sarah Palin, who sat there and stood up for us, and they vilified her. They ripped apart her family. They were downright, and that's the thing is they let people like Alyssa Milano with her ill-informed ideas go on air. But when someone has something that's right to say, they shut them up. And someone that's on our side, they shut them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
They call him a racist. They call him everything in the book.
Kind of crap.
And this has gotten to be, and especially if they're a woman, heaven forbid if they're a woman on the right. And this has gotten to be out of hand, out of control. And there's no one in Hollywood, female-wise, that I would say that would be the conservative equivalent of Alyssa Milano. Although Alyssa Milano's kind of a worm, but we won't go there.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
anyway.
we're in a psychological war. And the main tool of that war is information. So if they can restrict information and control the narrative, then they win. So we have to say something, and we're going to have people with platforms large enough to be heard to say it. So.
Yeah, and I think that what DC Hammer was talking about today, that article on Zero Hedge with that new platform that's coming out, I believe that's what Mark Levin was talking about several weeks ago whenever he started to go into it, that there was going to be an alternative coming out soon. And then he stopped himself and he said, no, I'm not ready to talk about that yet. So I think that might have been what he was maybe had, boots on the ground with. But I'm very, very interested in that. That's a platform that America needs, because these other Google, Facebook, and them, they've just all become the corrupt communistic, ideologic. Yep, exactly. Silicon Valley. And I think that this will move it away from there. And those companies can just rot in HELL for all I care, for what they've done to this country. And it was a plan. It was part of their 20-year plan. And they can all go get bent.
Exactly. Colleen Allen in the chat, she brings up a good question. She wants to know, where are the other Republican politicians to back up Lindsey? He opened the door with his comments, but none continued them. The Democrats would continue to pick up the baton and run with it.
Yeah, most of them are leaving. That's why they're not saying anything.
Yeah.
They're either leaving or they're, haven't been paid enough money, or they're running. They're afraid they're going to hurt somebody's feelings.
Or they're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
With their handler.
Yeah. And even Maria Bartolomeo, whenever she had her, I think the Sunday show with Lindsey Graham, she says, who was that Lindsey Graham the other day? We've been looking for him for a long time. And I had said last week, whenever he was questioning Cavanaugh about the treason, remember, it was like, oh, wait a minute, what did he just say? And I said then, I bet he's going to be running for something. And whenever he spoke with Maria on Sunday morning, what he said was, if I ever get a chance to be, I get what Grassley's doing, right? Basically, that's the position that he's eyed, is to be the head of that board. Yeah, the Senate, the Senate committee or whatever. And that is, I know that's what he's eyeing. So he's eyeing something. This right here, he's been held back, I think, all these years from McCain. And finally, I think they gave him an ultimatum. You better find your oohoos and get out here and do your job.
Well, Q had a post on that today. Q had a post on that today that I found interesting. What was that?
He's been activated.
Yeah, that he's been activated.
Yeah, I think he was given an ultimatum, and I was planning on retiring or something in the next, year or so. I don't know, but that's the seat that he wants. That's what he's eyeing as a head seat. And if he, I think he would, if he acted and behaved in a patriotic manner as he has the last few weeks, he would make a great Senate Speaker instead of McConnell, who's a coward.
Right.
If he would do that continuously every day, not just get in there and all of a sudden, he's picking his fingernails or something. So if he'll get in there and kick ass every day, just every day for the American people, then he would make a great Senate Speaker.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what he does coming up. I would like to see more of these guys grow a backbone, personally.
Me too.
I'm sick and tired of these ninnies that go to Congress. Oh, yeah, here, we're going to do this and this and this for you. And they do not one darn things.
Ninnies.
I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice because I could say something else.
I'll say it. I don't have a problem saying it. But Kelly, who is it? Kelly Ward in Arizona. She's was Air Force, I think. And she was a fighter pilot. And she will do whatever she says she's going to do. That girl's got spunk. And I pray that she wins this November. I pray she wins that election because is she running in
Flake's place?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And she'll do a lot of good for the country. I know that for a fact. And same thing with John James. I think he's in Michigan, I believe. He'll do good. But she's got spunk. She will get you wound up. And she's got a backbone. Maybe she'll teach some of those wimps that are up there or something.
Oh, gosh. Maybe she'll find someone that can do spine transplants, because heavens knows that's what's needed.
Huh?
I don't know. I just... it just seems like through the Obama years, it's like everybody lost their spine. It was a contagious disease or something.
Yeah. And now part of them are, they're not running again, so they're just not doing anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, they just sold their souls. It's different than not having a spine. They're willing to.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true, too. That's very true. I call them the cowards.
Yeah, but they're most likely just corrupt.
Yeah.
You got bought.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. You're right. Colleen Allen is saying they need term limits. I would have to agree with that wholeheartedly. Definitely.
Every one of them. You got Feinstein down there for like 500 years.
If they come out of there $1 million richer than they were when they entered, then they automatically need to be put under investigation.
Absolutely.
Why is that not in place now? I mean, some of these people have like...
There's a law that's passed that Senate and the Congress do not fall underneath a certain set limitation or liabilities, and they are able to have almost like insider trading. They're allotted that because they have insight into some of these things. But the speech that President Trump had discussing the Rose Garden again had to do with trade. He said he's spoken to many people, that even some of the people that are on his staff in the finance world, and they were hacked off because, like, for instance, he gave an example of India. He said, okay, let's just give you the example of India. Say that the person that was speaking to me had, has a business in India, right? And their tariffs on us are 60%, right? Trump says, so I want to charge India now 25% tariffs. And this guy doesn't think it's fair. So I'm having to drill it into his head that 25% tariffs on India for your product is fair, because before y'all were paying nothing and we were paying 60%. Says for the American people, it's fair. And this guy, he says, and this Democrat could not get it through his head that he still thought we were bad.
That was in his speech tonight, wasn't it?
I didn't get to hear all his speech tonight, but this was in the Rose Garden briefing whenever he did the trade briefing.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. And then these senators who helped broker these deals get kickbacks from it.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And their constituents are the ones that pay for it.
Yep, the lobbyists. The lobbyists are paying for so much of it, and I pray that they can get some of that under control, because there has to be a liability. They are screwing the American people over, and they've been doing it for many,
I would love
years.
to look into Dianne Feinstein's finances, because I'm going to bet you dollars to donuts that lady she's got some really shady deals going on.
Yeah, because
Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, and then whenever Feinstein was, what did she do before she was a senator?
She was mayor of San Francisco.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so back in the day, and even up until recently, every time a post office was going to close down or something like that, it was like an
Oh yeah, her husband would buy it.
All of those. Yeah, her husband would buy it and then sell it back to the state.
Yeah,
and he got all kinds of railroad contracts, highway contracts. I mean, just all kind of stuff. Some of them now, of course, like for instance, that the one with the rail system is already $1 billion over budget, and it's years down the road.
Oh, that BART is a big fat bloody mess.
Yeah, so that's all Feinstein's doing there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just one big sham. They're just like the Clintons.
Yep.
Just like the Clintons. They're all in the same little traitorous, racketeering, money laundering. I mean, just you name it, they're in it. And they birds of a feather. That's all I got to say about that.
Amen.
My take on the founding fathers and what they had in mind was the farmer, the truck driver, the McDonald's worker would get elected, go for 4, 6, 8 years, whatever, and then when they left there, they'd go back to McDonald's, they'd go back to farming, they'd go back to trucking. And we so need to get back to that system where politicians, when you take the money out of politics, it'll get back to where it should be towards the people. It would absolutely be for us and not for them anymore. Right now, it's all for them. It's all for the money.
Yep.
There are some senators, to my understanding, that do that. And the senator from Utah, Mike Lee, does do that. He actually has a cot set up in his office, so he wouldn't have to get an apartment in Washington, D.C., and he stays in his office, his congressional office.
Several of them do that. Yeah, several of them do that. There was a really big report on that, probably, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. And it was very, very interesting. There's quite a number of them, not the old timers, of course, but
these are
the younger ones that live in the, like these, because it's so expensive to live in DC.
Right.
So they just basically have a cot set up in their office. And Cory Booker is the one who was going to try to get that where they couldn't sleep in their office. Can you believe it?
Imagine that.
Yeah. That was Cory Booker was going to do that, and that was I would have to go through a bunch of files to find that, but yeah, it was Cory Booker that was pushing to get it to where basically it was like illegal for them to sleep in their office on a cot, and they go to the gym. They go to the gym, eat dinner or whatever, then go back to their office.
Right.
And I think Jason Chauvitz actually had discussed that. It was right about the same time that report came out, actually, and I think Jason Chauvitz had discussed that on, might have been Fox, that he did that too because it was so expensive.
Yeah, well, and that was the reason that Mike Lee had done that, was because he said that he didn't want to cost his constituents any more money because he was there to do a job for them, not for himself.
Right.
And I know personally, I know that his family has sacrificed a lot for him to be a congressman. And I wish I could say more, but I do like his family a lot. But it's they have sacrificed a great deal, and they have done it as they feel it's their honor to serve the people of Utah. How many senators do we have that do that anymore? That really feel that it's their honor to do that?
Yeah,
you're absolutely right, and there are a few. I mean, you could look at people like Trey Gowdy,
right?
And I truly believe in like Ted Cruz. There's a few of them out there yet, but or now, but the old school ones, the lifers, no, and a lot of the young Democrats, no way. And I hope this cleansing, and I'll call it a cleansing. I hope this cleansing by our president Donald Trump does away with that stuff. I truly hope it does.
I do too, because it's just, if not, we're going to go through this vicious cycle again in 40 years. This is what our children and grandchildren will have to go through again if it's not taken care of now, and the laws are put into place where and a law, not an executive order, because that right there can be changed to the next president. Put that into law. And, a lot of us were looking more toward the Convention of States. And they need 34. I think they're up to like 13. I believe it was Missouri that just came on board recently, like a month or so ago. Here in Texas, we've been in part of the Convention of States for, over a year. But that right there would help a lot of this corruption, help get rid of a lot of this corruption, and the people would be in charge.
Right.
So it's something
which is what our founding fathers. I would say that it has to be more than a law. It almost has to be a constitutional amendment.
Well, but it's in our Constitution. The Convention of States is in our Constitution, and when you have a government that is so rogue, they don't care anymore. Exactly. This is the alternative that, and the Convention of States is in there. And Ben Shapiro, I think, helped head that with. Oh, Lord, I can't even remember right offhand. It starts with a P, the company, PragerU. They've been going around helping with the convention. Yeah, PragerU, with the Convention of States now for years. And, of course, Soros and all of them, they've been pushing against it and putting out, fake information stuff for years. But it's very, very interesting, and I really read into it. They register for it and see, if your state is part of, already signed up for it. But if they can get 34, then we're good to go. And it's so much more for the people and by the people than it is for the government. The Democratic, plantation is what our government looks like now, basically. It's what, you know what I mean, with the Democrats and all these rogue people everybody's just corrupt. It's
gone. Our founding fathers must be spinning in their graves.
I know. It's sad. It really is sad that in just a short period of time that it could just be this horridly corrupt. But there was a brief that came out a while ago, actually. Where was it? I put that. I'll have to put it in here. It has to do with, well, good Lord. Okay, I'll step off from here. Y'all can do whatever. I'll find it and I'll come back on.
Here's the thing. You ever seen a movie where everybody's been under a spell, hearing the same crap in their ears, and then at the end of the movie they wake up. They all come kind of out of a deep sleep and they wake up and everything else. I truly believe that as soon as the veneer starts to crack, as soon as all the dominoes start to fall, and mainstream media, once we take back mainstream media, I truly believe it's not as bad as they make it out to be. It's not that yes, there's going to be I keep using thirds. A third of us are woke up, 2/3 aren't yet, but a third is going to come over to our side once everything comes away. There's going to be a third that'll deny it till the day they die. Trump set Obama up. Trump set Clinton up. This is all fake. That'll be the crazy part. There will be a third. I don't know if it'll be 10%. I don't know what it'll be, but there will be a percentage of people that will not believe what reality is. But
Exactly.
I think, in all honesty, once the veneer starts to crack and mainstream media is forced to tell the truth once again, I think you'll see a lot more believers than we are led to believe there is. The general public can't be that stupid. They just can't be.
They'll have to get rid of a ton of, these media personalities that have been there. My God, just as long as some of these corrupt politicians have been there, what I mean? But anyway, so the link I just posted on there was a article that came out again today, but it was originally written in 2015.
You posted it where?
In the chat.
The technocratic elite domination via mind control and mass surveillance. Brzezinski called it 45 years ago. Brzezinski, that's
Mika's dad.
Yeah, that's her dad. He passed away in 2017. But he was in and out of the government in shady, positions for years. But he was something else. You know what I mean? Where they came from, and I would say he was probably had a lot of Nazi characteristics and stuff in his bloodstream. But anyway, that's a pretty cool little article right there, and it goes over, the Secrecy Act, the CIA, MK Ultra. These are things that he discussed years ago. But you should read it. It's pretty interesting. But anyway, so I think the last time I'm not sure if anyone can recall, but I believe the last time, when we were growing up, I believe during the week at 10 o'clock, the TV went off the screen. I believe it was 10 o'clock. And midnight on the weekends, literally all three channels went off and played. They played
like the Star Spangled Banner.
Absolutely. And the flag was just a waving as the TV went off with all of the little static back there. And if I recall, I heard it somewhere, I think it was in the 1980s, the mid 1980s was the last time that we have not had TV that wasn't 24 hours a day.
Right.
We had TV that's just, from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m., I believe it was during the week, and until midnight on the weekend. And I think other than that, TV has been available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last 30-something years. So, I mean, can you imagine people that could actually think without having to have their TV just going and going and going?
Well, I know some of us that have sleep disorders. We are grateful that we have the TV in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But
some people just...
But yeah.
But maybe that's the reason for your sleep disorders.
Some people just live on the TV. Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, are you serious? They got it going, in their bedroom. They got it going in the hall. And I even seen a refrigerator at Home Depot last week that has a TV screen built into the door of it now.
Right. Gun clinging, Palin. Exactly. Some people need it to sleep. I use it to go to sleep. I will put on a video, and I usually don't even get past 5 minutes and I'm gone.
Yeah.
But it's sad, though, because they are using it for other nefarious purposes.
So. I think so. And, if, like, when your electricity goes out, there was a study that was done a while back. When your electricity goes out, say you or something like you don't have all that frequency going through you, through your house, through your mind. And you can actually kind of, just clear your mind a little bit. And even on a good day after a good rain, just walk around barefoot outside for a while and just reconnect with the earth. And you would be surprised at how clear your mind will be just to get those frequencies out of your head. It's pretty interesting how it all kind of connects together.
When I was a kid, I was on TV all the time, and my mom finally said, "Get off of it. You're going to break it." Okay, sorry.
Well, when I was a kid, I think all I was allowed during the week was about an hour after school. So it was always Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch, then homework.
Oh, yeah.
That was
absolutely.
it. That was it. And then on the weekends, we were allowed, Saturday morning cartoons until about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it was turned off and you had to get your chores done.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't have Cartoon Network.
Oh, Lord, no. No, it was something like Daffy Duck or something. And then it was like, okay, y'all need to go play. And don't come back until later, right? So...
and that's another problem. That's another problem is parents don't do that anymore. They've got their children scheduled up to the gills with soccer and what have you. I remember going outside and not coming in. My mom being upset because we didn't come in and get lunch, and she couldn't yell loud enough for us in the backyard to come and get dinner because we were buried in the sandbox or something.
Absolutely, yeah. And whenever it started, when the lights came on outside, your street light, that was, you had to be home by then.
Yeah.
If not, it was real ugly if you didn't get home by then. But we found so much stuff to do out on the farm; it just kept us busy.
Yeah.
Rebuild bikes, take them apart, and rebuild lawnmowers and take them apart and put them back together. I learned how to do all that. Work on cars. I learned how to do all that stuff.
Me and my brothers and sisters built go-karts for racing up and down the streets, out of old lawnmower engines.
Exactly. I was like the skateboard queen, man, and I've got more bumps and bruises on my body. And just pick me up and dust me off, and here we go again.
And parents don't do that anymore.
Oh Lord, no! Now you gotta have ballet.
You've got to have gymnastics.
You gotta have your helmet on, and it's just ridiculous.
And mommy has to be there. Then it used to be, oh, Mom, I'm going over to Billy's to play. Now it's play dates.
Yeah,
really? Seriously?
It's crazy.
It's
just crazy.
My daughter was even shocked because my kids were that way. We have a full acre of nothing but a forest. And my kids, the second that they didn't have school and the sun came up, they were out the door.
Yeah.
I'd look out there and find them in the tops of the trees trying to build tree houses, whatever. And the neighborhood kids would come over and help and stuff like that. We'd have the whole neighborhood in our backyard.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We had people that we were just close to, like with that.
Yeah.
And we had the whole family, everybody over for the whole weekend.
Right.
You know, we had
and now
everybody got together and played, guitar or whatever for the weekend. Psh,
you go by kids, you go drive by people's yards who they've got kids, and the kids aren't outside playing. They don't know what sunshine is.
I get my teenagers.
By the time they're 20, they'll have diabetes, these children.
Yeah.
I get my teenagers every other weekend, and that's two boys and a girl, and freshman, junior, senior, and we have an in-ground pool. So when the weather's nice, my girlfriend, I, and the three kids, we go out and we play blind man's bluff, and we spend hours in the pool, and they just love it. And then I'll start a fire in the fire pit, and we'll sit around the fire or whatever. And it's just, I wouldn't do anything else. I mean, I wouldn't,
And
yes,
they'll
rent
remember
movies
that when they grow up.
Yes,
they will remember that.
I hope so.
They will. And they'll remember that when they grow up. You'd be surprised. Even my son, he's 33, my youngest, and he remembers the quality time, that we had together whenever the kids were growing up, because I worked full time. And so that time was very precious to me and to them.
Right.
So they remember those times.
Well, and that's what's sad. We don't have that anymore because we've got the left sitting there saying you have to watch your children. Utah passed about a month ago the free range child law. So people can't call DCFS on you anymore if you let your kids go outside and play all day. They made
why did that even have to be a law? I mean,
exactly right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with this country right there.
Exactly.
Common sense stuff. It flew out the window with these freaking lefties.
I know.
Exactly.
This world's going to hell in a handbasket.
Hey, brain is awake.
When I was a kid, I had to walk uphill both ways. From
hills.
Yeah, but,
I had to walk to school up hills both ways and fight off bears with my 3-ring binder.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. I remember when we were growing up,
there was Bigfoot in my neighborhood.
Yeah, we would go out and shoot guns, and
we'd catch water skeeters at the pond down the street, and put them in our pond because we couldn't figure out why the water skeeters wouldn't stay in our pond.
Water skeeters,
catching frogs. Oh, we love water skeeters.
Yeah,
they were great.
We'd go frog gigging.
Exactly,
we did it. There was nothing wrong. That was just us, you know what I mean? But that's the way that we were brought up. And if you fall down and tear your knee apart, that's okay, girl. Just get it up and dust it off here. Just wash it off a little bit. You're good. Let's go. And there wasn't none of this. No.
Yeah. Well, calling
it'd been ugly if we even acted like these people behave nowadays. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why we've got millennials. We've got the problems with millennials, because we've got parents they're helicopter parents. They hover over everything that their children do instead of just let them be kids, let them figure it out, let them learn what responsibility and taking care of yourself does for you.
Exactly. So if you stick something in the electric socket, guess what? You get the pee shocked out of you. You're not going to do that again.
Exactly.
That's the way we were taught. That is what we're taught. It's like, I bet you don't do that again. That's right. Guess what? I didn't ever do that again.
You're going to shoot your eye out.
Oh, my gosh.
Exactly.
Happened.
Yeah, we didn't have iPro. We didn't have iPro back then. We didn't have EarPro back then. We didn't have anything. We didn't have the seat belts for, God, I don't even know when your seat belts came out.
Oh, no. And we piled in the back of a pickup truck, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Pickup truck, hauled butt. Yep.
Like that song. How is it they put it jumping on the dashboard? That was us. Okay. And guess what? We turned out okay.
My son got an airsoft gun he bought an airsoft gun with the money his dad gave him for his 12th birthday. And I told him, I said, you're going to shoot your eye out. And he says, I'll be okay, Mom. I'll be okay. the next day he came home and I said, "Where's your glasses?" And he just looked at the floor, and I said, "Where's your glasses?" And
well, he didn't shoot his eye out, did he?
"Mom, you were right. I shot my eye out." He hit a tree. It ricocheted and it hit his glasses and totally shattered it.
Yeah.
But he didn't shoot his eye out because the glasses saved him.
The glasses saved him.
Oh.
Yeah,
But
no, we didn't have any of that protection back then, so we just learned.
I had a kid in my class that stepped on a nail because at a place that his parents told him he wasn't supposed to be. And he wouldn't tell his mom and wouldn't tell his dad. And then finally he got this fever. Yes, he got a really bad fever and they had to take him to the hospital. They had to amputate 3 toes off of his right foot.
Yep.
Because he wouldn't tell his mom and dad what had happened and where he had been.
Wow. Yeah. See, that's, yeah.
But at least he learned.
You got to be tough to be a cowboy.
Exactly. Tough cookies is what we call them. Tough cookies.
Exactly. He walked around for weeks like that. Weeks.
Why does your foot smell like it's rotten off?
It's like, God, change your socks, dude.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, and it's just it's sad because we don't have that anymore. Kids are put in bubble wrap.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Well,
yes, they are.
I think our time is up.
Our time is up.
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
We were having so much fun.
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah, but I about fell asleep listening to you girls.
Hey.
Yeah, and Bandit.
You girls and Bandit, that that tranny.
Bandit. Brainstorm.
Bandit the tranny. Oh boy. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, business. Oh, bother. That's what he says, right? Oh, bother.
Oh, bother.
Okay, guys.
Woe is me. It's my birthday.
It's Eeyore.
Yep, it is.
Okay. Well, this has been Secret Squirrels. It's episode 27. And I suppose we could put the date in there. What is the date? Today is October 1st of 2018. So,
Brain.
What?
We can't hear you.
Oh.
Moshi Moshi. Maybe he'll understand in another language.
They can't hear me, but I can hear them. And I don't know why they can't hear me. But anyway.
I can't hear a word. I can't hear anything he's saying.
We're heading out.
I can't either.
Good night.
I don't know if it is.